Hey, what up, people? It's your host, Incognegro, and I'm joined with my two lackeys, Hot Kaiser the Brave, and of course, Akuma Soul. And this is the Otaku Club cast. Welcome back.
Really?
So does this mean I'm actually gonna be getting paid this time?
No.
Oh,
Nobody gets paid. Nobody
okay.
makes money.
So, let's talk about some stuff that happened this past week.
Well, probably the biggest thing to talk about is the fact that the Switch was actually shown, not shown with fucking superimposed video on top for once.
And
But
not 3D printed.
but for some reason it was shown on Jimmy Fallon. How does he get all these exclusives? Am I missing something?
Because he's the only late night host who's not a fucking chill.
Mm,
Wait, no, wait, that's wrong. He's not a fucking asshole.
mm. Well, you know what? Let's just move on and actually talk about the Switch. So it was shown. It was shown, and well, there's not really much to say other than the fact that it looked like it actually did what it was supposed to do. It looked like it worked. There was literally a minute the gameplay on the little Switch screen that you keep in your hands. It was less than a minute, but from where I could see, the frame rate looked at least acceptable, and up on the screen, the game looked fine. So I don't really, I don't really know what to
Well,
think.
see, the thing is with Nintendo, they can show you a bunch of fucking pretty bullshit, but it's not gonna change the fucking fact that they're focusing on yet another gimmick. A gimmick that will save this the
I no. I see them buying this. You know why? Because it's the handheld and the console for Nintendo this generation. It's both. If you buy Nintendo's handhelds every generation, you're gonna buy this. If you buy their consoles every generation, you're gonna buy this. It's gonna save you money in the long run,
Well,
right?
here's the thing that somebody's mentioned before, and it's kind of true. Nintendo fans buy Nintendo consoles, and half the time, Nintendo fans only really buy Nintendo consoles. So it'll make its money for the Nintendo fans itself. The main thing, of course, is the third-party support that everybody wonders about, and this time they questionably have it together. They already have some different groups announcing exclusives, but they're like actual companies that nobody's really heard.
No. You can't fall for this because remember when the Wii U came out or when it was announced, it
yeah.
also appeared to have third-party support, but it dropped off like a shit off a fly. No, I did that the wrong order. But I would wait until at least 6 months into the Switch's lifespan, and actually, Reggie announced when it would be available for purchase next year, which is March, right?
Yeah, and
March with no games announced for it other than like what?
well,
Who knows?
there are a few games that are announced to be coming out, but they have yet to announce what the
There
games
will
are.
probably be a direct between now and March where they just show a whole bunch of Switch games. But
Well, there's
anyways,
going to be a live demo in January. That much is confirmed. But one of the games that actually was announced is called Heaven, I believe. It's by Any Art Productions, which I'm sure nobody else has heard of because I just looked around a little bit on the internet and couldn't find much about them. Uh, it's based off of a book, based off of a French book by the same name by some guy named Nicolas Augusto. Uh, it centers around surviving in a post-civilization world. It supposedly runs on Unreal Engine 4, which I'm not a big video game engine guy, but I believe that's pretty decent, right?
yeah, I mean, it's not about the engine; it's about what you do with it, really. But we'll see more of that in the weeks to come.
You know another, you know another thing that Jimmy Fallon got. I I believe it was shown on his. I believe it was shown on his show. Another trailer slash thing. Anyway, Spider-Man: Homecoming, the official trailer, the actual trailer was dropped.
Yeah, not a teaser, like a full 2 minute
Theatrical
thing.
trailer.
I was waiting for one of you guys to finish it. So
I mean, it. This is the third time they've been trying to fucking make a Spider-Man series of movies.
I mean,
thought
they were
the first one
successful.
was pretty good,
Yeah.
but
There's the problem with the early Spider-Man movies was that 3 supposedly hemorrhaged money. I mean, they made it back, but like 3 was received so badly.
3 was a bad movie, no doubt about that. And the people will say different, but that's just because they're like, Venom, I love
and
Venom.
I'm one of those people. I still think that movie was good just because it had Venom in it, and it had some good moments in it. I like the fucking when he got the black suit and
He was dancing
and shit. That
I
was
didn't
great.
know the fucking symbiote makes you a better dancer and singer.
Well, hang on now. It was made. This point's been made a million times. Hell, I think this same point was made a couple of weeks ago by Adam Blompied on What Culture. That scene actually works when you think about it because it's fucking cringy as all hell, and it's not how fucking cool people actually act. But Peter Parker's not cool. That's what he thinks a cool guy acts like.
Well,
It makes perfect sense.
aside from that, the trailer itself, it had a couple villains in it. It showed pretty much what the movie's gonna be like. It's not an origin story or anything, so it's pretty good, I guess.
Thank God that it's not an origin story. I mean, Spider-Man is like the 3rd most popular superhero. People know
No.
they don't have to see Uncle Ben get fucking shot up by
In terms of sales, Spider-Man's actually the most popular.
No, I'm not talking about sales. I'm talking about
Oh, okay, you mean legacy.
recognition, yes.
But
But
yeah,
there were some things I liked and some things I disliked. I obviously like that this is an official collaboration between Sony and Marvel, and it just puts Spider-Man in the MCU, and Iron Man shows up, and I like the fact that Peter Parker and Spider-Man actually seem consistent this time. Peter Parker is nerdy and Spider-Man is wisecrack. It's not where it's all nerdy like Tobey Maguire, and it's not where it's like he tries to be a fucking nerd but he's not with Andrew Garfield. So, but
yeah.
what I don't like is that it's set in high school.
The reason they're setting it in high school is unfortunately, but it's because Spider-Man, all of his best material was like in high school. After you get out of high school, you end up with things like One More Day and I forget what
Stop
the other
it.
one was that people really, really hated. Because like,
And it's no, I disagree with that. It's not that it's high school was like the most good material, because he had some really good stuff outside of high school. But speaking of good and bad roller coasters, let's talk about Tales of Berseria and the controversy surrounding the censorship, the apparent censorship of a certain scene that they showed this past week.
I want to tell you that transition was terrible, but continue.
Yeah, well, not everybody can transition like fucking Ricky Ortiz do.
Pause.
Oof.
I'm not touching that one. No. Fucking.
Oof. Oof.
Anyway,
Fucking
Berseria.
Berseria.
So-
a scene
a
where a
series
child is. Go ahead.
a series that has fucking genocide, mass murder, fucking. threats of intense killing, fucking people being turned into horrific monsters and shit. Fucking
And tons of religious symbolism as well.
yeah, somebody, a villain doing what they're supposed to do, fucking stabbing somebody, fucking cold blooded,
It
is
was
censored for the
completely
fucking Western
redone.
audience
It's
for
like
some
not
reason.
only censored, it's just completely redone. So instead of just stabbing the child and throwing him in a pit, instead he summons fucking a fucking ultimate attack. Fucking impales him on two magic swords, which somehow I don't know. Two swords is less graphic than one, and the scene is even longer, and it's just tacky. Like
I just don't understand. I mean, I've been around with the Tales games. I've played just about every one that I could get my hands on, and I just don't get why this is being censored. I'm trying to think back, but I remember in Tales of Symphonia, one of the bosses actually dies by Kratos and Lloyd both stabbing the guy like through the chest. And Abyss, spoilers for anyone who hadn't played Abyss, one of the main characters, it ends with him having like 6 or 7 swords plunged into his chest. Why now? Is it because
and it
it's a
becomes
kid?
even more confusing because one of the producers of the game said in regards to the outfits that they want the English version of the game to be exactly the same as the Japanese version because it's important to them. And that's just talking about the optional costumes and stuff that I'm sure some people would have gotten offended over. But in terms of an actual story scene completely changing it seems like it's a complete, it doesn't even seem, it is a direct contradiction to what he said.
I mean, the Tales had strange costumes. I'll say that much. None of them have ever been really too racy, to be honest. Probably the most racy costume for a Tales of character I can think of. It wasn't even like Mila from Zillia. It was actually Judith from Vesperia. She had a swimsuit, and it wasn't even like, it was just like, that was probably the most racy one I can think of offhand. So it makes sense that they're not going to censor, or quote unquote censor, the costumes. I just don't, I think it's silly. They gave a reason, by the way. The reason was supposedly that they have to, much like all these other game industries, these Japanese game industries now, Japanese game developers, sorry. They say things like, I'm getting even more fucked up, publishers. They say that supposedly they have to move, when they bring games over to America, they have to make it fit America's, America's setting and whatnot, so that it doesn't, like, seem too out of the way. It's the whole bullshit behind, it's just like the bullshit behind, Fire Emblem
Fates?
Yeah, because they say that it's too different. It's too much of a cultural difference. So
But
you mean
there's
to tell
even
me?
more bullshit. The answer doesn't answer anything. It just raises more questions than it solves.
So, I guess
Seems like it's just been a disappointing week in video games because apparently people are not very pleased with Last Guardian either. They're saying that it wasn't worth the wait.
much better
Which
transition.
it was fucking just to be expected because the game was being hyped up for so long.
9 years.
Was it being hyped by the creator? Was it being hyped by the developers or by Sony? No, it was being hyped by the fan base. So they're really to blame for their own disappointment, in my opinion. They're not saying that it's a bad game, but they're saying that it didn't live up to my expectations. Like, okay,
Well, no, the game always, from what I've seen, the game always sits at like a 7.0 out of 10. So it's like the game. Nobody's saying the game is bad. It's just everybody was very, very disappointed. Which is that better?
I think I think this is a problem with hype culture because you're hyping up a game, you're envisioning it to be all sorts of things in your head, and when it comes out and you're gonna be disappointed with that, I think some hyperbolic opinions will make themselves known. But the one thing that I can say that is more objective and less subjective is that apparently the dog, bird, rat things AI is not as good as it should be.
Well, one of the main things is they said that they were too ambitious. Like, they thought that they could make this thing really think almost, and they could. They overstepped.
I'm not
their
sure what that
ideas.
means. I have yet to play the game. You guys haven't played it either, right?
No, I haven't played it. I haven't touched it.
So
I don't really like was it Team
Ico.
Ico's games. Don't really like any of them.
And I definitely don't blame anybody for not enjoying the Team Ico games. They're very awkward. Like, Shadow of the Colossus is probably, I feel, their best put together game. And that game is fucking awkward as hell because you have to hold, like, 3 buttons to climb.
I think Ico was the first one is the best one
Really?
in terms of presentation, in terms of story even. Because really, when you think about it, Shadow of the Colossus' story was just, it had a twist at the end, but it wasn't really a twist because Dorman he foreshadowed what was going to happen. Not even foreshadowing, he just said, this is going to be a bad idea, bro. And other than that, there was no plot, there was no story. But Ico had a story and actually had like a narrative instead of just go from place to place and beat the boss.
It's kind of weird because Shadow of the Colossus is known to have had a lot of cut content. For instance, there was going to be, like, how many Colossuses are in the original game? 12, I think? 10?
16.
Really? Is it that many? Well, I know
Yep.
that they said that there was gonna be a lot more Colossuses. Like, way more. And I don't know if that would have been, like, for the better.
I think as it stands right now, the game is perfect for what it is.
I mean, it's a damn good game, but point is that people are very upset with it, and like from what I've heard from reviews from people I know and reviews from a few game reviewers, they said that the game is when the game is bad, it's bad, but when it's brilliant, like truly brilliant. And the story is really good. I know a friend who's played through it 3 times already, and he just says it's very good, but the controls for it, or controlling Trico is the worst part of it, and that's really sad because that's like the main part of the game. So.
And once again, I'll reiterate that Team Ico has they make games with weird mechanics, but once you get accustomed to them, then it just clicks and everything falls into place and just makes sense.
Speaking of things clicking and falling into whatever. Speaking of video games, what'd you guys play this week?
That was horrible.
Fuck off. What did you
So
play?
what have we been playing? I've been playing Melty
Nah,
Blood.
you ain't been playing. You been
Access
getting your ass
again.
beat in Melty Blood. That's what happened.
No,
Tell it like it
no,
is.
no. You lost the last set.
I lost 1 match out of the last set. You got
No, you
completely
lost the
bodied
last set.
free.
So, welcome to Shitpost Theater. Here's your ticket.
I also been playing Hearthstone since the new expansion came out. I've been playing Shadowverse, which gets the new expansion on the 28th, so it
Have
looks
you done
pretty
anything
good.
special with Hearthstone? Anything?
I participated in the fucking Hearthstone General Tournament. I lost the first round. The set was 2-3. I kept it competitive. I just drew like shit.
You know, somebody once said that there's not really any. You can't really blame the idea of drawing bad in a game. You should be able to build your deck around so that you never, ever
Yeah, you
have
know
that
what?
problem.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit, yo. See these niggas play poker. Oh, I didn't draw bad. Fuck off.
Well, that's different. It's like most trading card games. You should be able to build your deck so that you never have this problem.
No.
Well,
You can't fucking completely mitigate luck. So what have you guys been playing?
I have been playing this little game by
Suda.
I think the guys who made fucking
Grasshopper.
No More Heroes and shit. Yeah, Grasshopper.
Suda 51.
Well,
It's called
actually,
Let
Suda-
It Die.
Suda.
Suda didn't work on it, I don't think.
Yeah.
Nani?
But it's called Let It Die, and I think I liked it for like the first day that I was playing it. Fucking after that, it just becomes a fucking chore.
That's really unfortunate because its whole thing is that it's free to play, right?
Oh yeah, I should have known. Fucking free to play garbage.
Are there transactions in it?
Of course.
So
When I
what are
first
the
heard
microtransactions?
You can buy these things called like death medals. Those are basically your continues, so that you don't have to fucking go and get your character back or fucking pay an absurd amount of fucking in-game currency. Express passes, so you can use the elevator without having to pay money for it, and you get more inventory space.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh.
No, I was gonna say that when I first saw the game, I thought it was multiplayer.
No, there's no multiplayer at all in it. It's fake multiplayer.
When I first saw No Man's Sky, go on. Go ahead.
It's the gameplay itself, like it's missing some things that I think would make it better. Like when you're fucking shooting your gun and you fucking try to reload, you can't cancel the animation to reload to like roll or anything. That's complete garbage with fucking shooting mechanics. Same thing with melee. You can't cancel out of anything. You gotta fucking commit to every fucking move, which I don't think you should have to if there's a fucking stamina system. You can't break guards. I think that's the game. It's just fucking completely engineered
Now
just
let
to
me
make
ask:
you buy
Is this
bullshit.
a case? Is this a case of you can't do those things, or you just haven't figured out how to
No,
do those
you
things?
literally cannot cancel the animation for like.
What about guard break? It seems
No, there's
I
no
don't know.
guard break mechanic. Like you can hit people and like you'll do damage, but it'll be like fucking scaled down damage. But you cannot break guards.
damn.
That's really unfortunate because I saw the game and I like the aesthetic for it. Then again, I like the aesthetic for all Suda games, which
It's
again
not a
they're
Suda
basically
game.
all this. Well, all Grasshopper games. They're all like
Oh,
they all
they're
have
all the
basically
same.
the same one.
They're all just quirky,
I mean, they're quirky, but
quirky
I mean,
and punk and fucking
quirky.
yeah.
Quirky anime punk. Because it's just, you know, literally like when Suda made Travis touchdown and he almost literally ripped him off of Johnny Knoxville. Like
Almost.
you heard the story, right? Suda took a picture of Johnny Knoxville to his staff, and it was like with one of the dials, and he said, "What does this image make you think of?" And then he's character that makes you think of this image. Suda's a weird guy.
Clearly. So what have you been playing, Akuma?
You know, there's Pokemon. A little bit. Pokemon.
Pokemon. What is
Yeah.
this? Some sort of new? Is this a new game? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, I just discovered it for the first. No, I'm playing as always, and I'm doing my typical grinds where I try to get every single Pokemon level, then go and play online because apparently the online for this version must be the small amount of Pokemon, but from my understanding, it's worse than it's been in a long time because there's only 6 Pokemon that people use as opposed to the 7 that they use in Landorus. But yeah, I'm playing Pokemon. It's Pokemon. There's not really much else to say about it. It's probably the best Pokemon game I've ever played. Or well, no, it's not Stadium.
Ooh,
I love Stadium too. I think
it's no Battle Revolution, but it's pretty good, right?
stop. That game came out on fucking like a really important day for me. I don't want to remember that game. Game was fucking absolute filth. Well, it wasn't Pokemon Channel.
Ooh,
Anyway, that's about all.
that's about all. Like, links to everything we talked about in this cast will be in the description as always. We'll be back next week. And any closing words?
Hopefully we'll get another promotion. A little bit higher up from Lackey. Next time you see us.
No.